Hi, in this video we will illustrate how is that we find the output of a function given its graph. So in this question they are asking me what is the answer of f of -2, and for this they're giving me this graph. So the only thing that I have to do is look for the -2 in the graph. So -2 is right here. Then I go and look for the value of y here in the graph, so on the blue part of the graph here. So this dot is on 1, so the answer is 1. So just only I'm looking in the graph, and this is what we need to put. So here they go put it here a dot, a red dot, so the answer is 1. So let's do another one. So here f of 1 given this figure, so look for 1 here, and then I look, I'm sorry, 1 here is over here, so here would be a 2. So let's look at the explanation. 1 on top of the line is a 2. Okay, one more. -2, so -2 is right here, so I put a dot there, that will be a 0. So look at the explanation here. So the coordinates for this is -2, 0, so the answer is a 0. Now the other question that we're going to have today in the ALEKS is input and output. So in this problem they're asking us again for the output that we just studied, but there is also the input. Like for example, which x will give us a 4 in the graph. So 4, we look for a 4 in the y's is here, so that comes with an x on 0, so that's 0. And how can I, and what about the -2? So look for -2, and -2 comes, give us a 2. So let's see the explanation. So x, which x give us a 4? The x is a 0, so this dot is the 0, 4, right? So the answer is 0. Now here is, what's the y that corresponds to the -2? So -2 here is a 2. So then one answer was, in this case they have the 4, the answer was 0, and for the -2 the answer is 2. Okay, one more. Input and output again. So f of -2, so look for the -2 here, and then I look for how is that is intersected here, which dot is here is -2, 2. So the answer for this one is a 2. Now where is it that I get a 4? Which x will give me a 4? The 4 is here, and it comes from the 0. So again the answer, the 4, the answer was 0, and the -2, the answer was 2. So I think the explanations here are really clear. Let's do just one more. So f of 2. So f of 2, we look for number 2, so this is 2, and then on the graph is a 2. So f of 2 is going to give us a 2. Now which x will give us a -4? So -4 is here, the x comes from the 0, so x is here. Okay, again if you check the explanation, here, so the f of 2 on 2, it was a 2. I'm sorry, -2, I'm sorry, I said 2, right? 2 give us a -2, so that's a -2. And which one gave us a -4? The -4 comes when the x is 0, so the answer is 0, and here is -2.